Okay.
Welcome to WOW, World of Water. I'm Mark Miller, and today we're going to talk about being prepared, not scared, when disaster strikes. You have flashlights, maybe you even have canned goods, but have you really thought about your water supply if there's an emergency? I've found that many times that is one of the most neglected things, even by those who serve others, but we each one need to be prepared for that, no matter what comes, because we never know. And we're not used to having to be prepared for that. But doesn't it make sense to think ahead and be prepared? There's a lot of different things that we could share about when people wish they had. And I've often said, I trust that will be the one, each one of you, that never have to say, I wish I had prepared. So that's what we want to do today, is just kind of give us a feel for that in a very positive way, even though there's some things that when you have to share about this, there are definitely challenges that bring this about. There's all kinds of stories that we can look at and be reminded of, hurricanes and different things. For example, Katrina, for example, thousands were stranded without safe water, and there were many deaths, and some of them were not just because of the hurricane or the storm, but because they did not have water, and they lost because of not having safe water after the storm as well. Also, there are many other instances, but in San Diego a few years ago, not that many years ago, there was 5 feet of water running through the homes of those that got that major flood at that time, and their vehicles were floating down the stream, but with a proper water system that is available that we do have as well, to offer those that desire that. You literally could take water from that water that was flowing down the street or wherever and have pure water to drink, even though everything else was wrong. North Carolina, I just talked just a few weeks ago to one of the persons that's serving that area, and with a nonprofit entity, a charity, and they said there are still some of those that live in that area that was hit hardest without electricity and even without water. They're having to take water to them, and again, they still have no electricity. A number of years ago in Texas, there were two different times they were without electricity for quite a few days. And then in Tennessee, 2 or 3 years ago, there was a flood in an area where 13 or 14 counties, all of their water systems were polluted, the utilities, and for days, all they had to have, and they had to do boiled water. And of course, that was good. They could boil the water, but it's very difficult to get enough water whenever there's an emergency, in many instances, to have enough water to take care of things. FEMA, for example, recommends that you have a minimum of 1 gallon of water per person per day, but few families actually do have that. And of course, if you want to live and have more than just enough to drink, you also care about the other things. So at least 3 gallons of water per person per day would be minimum to make sense. So no matter how long that lasts, and you never know how long that will be. So floods, hurricanes, wildfires, earthquakes, all can disrupt water treatment plants and other things in a matter of moments. And some say, well, that's fine. I'll just boil it. And as I already mentioned, the bacteria is a challenge, and chemicals are a challenge, and the water that you want to drink is a challenge. And again, to have enough of it, that is also something that we need to always keep in mind. Yes, you may have water that you store, but do you also have a way to purify water more than just a little bit? A lot of filters do not have the ability without electricity to create very much water every single day. We do have the answer for that. We'll share with you as well in just a moment. And I began to think about this and say, who are the most needy to need water and to have pure water in a time of great need. And the first thing that came to my mind there are a number of people across the United States and across the world, but think about the United States, especially right now, where if there was a situation where there was no electricity and no water, the ones that are in homeless shelters would be the ones that would have one of the greatest needs immediately because they every day have to depend on the shelter, the homeless shelter, for their food and their clothing and their place to sleep, etc. But one of the things that we find is there's hardly any of those entities that have ever come to the place to be able to have where they have water or a way to create enough water to take care of all that they serve. So that's another reason that we need to think ahead about that. But then I began to think about who needs it most. Well, I mentioned the homeless shelter, but is that all? No, we all do. We have some have children, some also, of course, you have your spouse possibly or others. You also have the church that you go to that they may need it. You have friends, you have family. Well, who doesn't need it? That's really what it comes to. Every single one of us needs pure water and don't want to have to say, I wish I had. So that's what we have, and that's the solution is what it takes to have something. So what can we do to help? And what we find is this. We have a company called Safer Cleaner Water, safercleanerwater.com. And that's designed to have everybody that desires to be able to have a system that, first of all, it actually you only have to purchase one time because it has a lifetime guarantee from the manufacturer. That's number two, you never have to buy another filter because it's designed on purpose where you can backwash it with the pure water it created and have the ability to use it every day for the rest of your life when needed in an emergency or every day if you so desire. Number three, most filtration systems do not create very much water per day, especially on gravity flow. But the filtration system that we have will do up to 150 gallons of water every single day, no matter how long you want to use it, no matter how long the emergency, or even if you want to use it regularly as well. So now there is a way to resolve that. So the other thing I began to think about, beside the ones that we mentioned that need it the most, and then again the fact that all of us need it. So we have a nonprofit entity, and the nonprofit entity is designed to actually make it where if you want to make a donation to our nonprofit, for every $100, someone can receive a water filtration system that will last them for the rest of their life and be able to help up to 300 other people as well. As we began to think about that in greater detail, it was like when people heard, well, yes, the homeless shelter needs it, but what about my friend, my family, my kids, my aunt, my uncle, my church, my homeless shelter that I know about in my area? And just recently, we in the area that we are in, we actually was able to donate one to the largest homeless shelter in the county, and such a reward. Someone donated $100, said, "Do with it what you like, whoever you'd like to do it for." So that was what happened with that case, and we can do that over and over. But when I realized it's not just the homeless shelters, but it's everybody, we decided to make it that available and make it available to everybody in the same way. So, for example, if you had 10 people, three people, two people, whatever, and you said, I really would like to have them to have pure water, I never thought about giving something that's the most valuable thing that you could give. So, for every $100 that you would donate, all you have to do is tell us where you want us to ship it. We will take care of everything else. You never have to do anything else. And now all of those that you serve that you would like to see have pure water, that can be taken care of. And again, all you do is $100 per, and then we do the shipping and take care of everything else. And you also get a financial benefit from the fact of the write-off from the taxes for all of those, except for one. And that's the one that I'm sure that you would want to purchase as well, or donate $100 where you could have one as well. You get the product, you get the benefits, you get the filter, you get all the things we described, shipping included for the $100. You don't get the tax write-off, but you get the joy of you having pure water, just like all the others. So it's not who doesn't need it. It's not who needs it. It's the fact that every single person needs it, and we made it possible to do it for you and for all of those that you desire to help as well. And if you have extra, or you know those that really have a passion to help our nonprofit, there are thousands and thousands of homeless shelters. And a lot of those we're finding hardly any of them have prepared in this capacity. So we every $100 you send, 10,000, 1,000, 200, whatever the number, we're able to help those homeless shelters and just also take care of everything and ship it to them direct, where they can now take care of up to 300 people they serve every single day. That's what we have, and that's what we like to do. And we like for you to be for you to be prepared. And uagrant.com is our nonprofit entity where you could go to donate, like we just described. And then also for lots more details about safer, cleaner water, the details of what it does, how it works, safercleanerwater.com is where you would go for that as well. Preparedness isn't paranoia, it's peace of mind. It's protecting your family's water supply, and that should be one of the first steps and one of the things you should do, where you don't ever have to be concerned about that again for others. Did you realize that did you realize there's only 3 to 5% of the people, from the best we can tell, in the United States, over 300 million people, only 3 to 5% of the households have the ability to take care of those they serve or those in that home if there's a great emergency without electricity for 3 to 5 days or more. We resolved that. We're glad that we can do that. The next time we're together, maybe not the next time, but one of the times soon, on WOW, World of Water, we'll talk about bottled water, a $300 billion industry may be selling something to you that doesn't help your health. And there's a way to resolve that where you never have to worry about not having pure water again, even if you don't ever buy another bottle of water like what we describe on the shelves, or the $300 billion out there that are being circulated for that purpose. A lot of those have microplastics in them as well. And what we have also removes 100% of the microplastics out of the water as well. We really appreciate you listening and sharing. Let us share with you what we have today, because it's something we want you also to be able to say, wow, World of Water, I got some